What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today on The Great Debaters, getting into a little D.O.C is dead. So today on The Great Debaters, Amir and I are going through what I believe to be D.O.C's best album. It's their second album. D.O.C is Dead came out in 1991. To me, a masterpiece in every way. But Amir, for you, what was your early memories, recollections, and feelings upon hearing D.O.C is Dead?
Well, actually, me and Soren talk about rap all the time. I don't know if I knew that was your favorite album by D.O.C or the best, as you said. I actually do agree, so that's good to know, because I don't know if we've ever had that discussion.
I don't believe so.
D.O.C is Dead is also my favorite. My first time hearing this, I did listen to this in order. So I heard 3 Feet High and Rising, and then I went to D.O.C is Dead. And I remember, first off, I was interested by the cover, and you see the daisies, out, and the flower pot broken. So it's obviously some symbolism there, basically showing, Daisy is dead, the inner sound, y'all, etc., etc., etc. D.O.C thinks of everything, you know what I mean? Like, every lyric is thought out, in my opinion, for D.O.C. So I took that very literally, and then so I saw that and I was like, okay, interesting. We'll see what's going on here. And this is a very long album in terms of track. In terms of tracks, there's 27 tracks on the CD that Soren has in his hand. On this tape, I was glancing over and I noticed that there's some songs or tracks not present.
Right.
So that's also interesting. Some artists did that and companies, etc. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about one of my favorite songs.
All right.
First song, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Millie Pull the Pistol on Santa. That was it's a very interesting song in terms of the concept, because first off, you kind of see that song title and you're like, well, who's Millie? Why is Millie killing Santa? And then you actually listen to the song and you're like, oh, I get it. And it's a sad tale of basically, this person named Millie who, Pausanius and Trugoy knew, and her dad was this kind of, I guess, role model in society, and everyone liked him, and he was cool, and he dressed up as Santa, when it was Christmas time and all that, and everyone knew who he was. But then behind the scenes, Millie was getting sexually abused and all this stuff, and no one believed her cries for help. And then when she asks for a gun, she gets denied, so she finds it another way. And in broad daylight, when Santa is in the mall, she goes ahead and shoots him. And it's a crazy story. Just hearing that, and they go into way more detail, obviously, in the song. It's pretty wild. And then on top of that, one interesting thing as well, one, I like the beat as well. It's a great beat. But then on top of that, too, the way that when the shooting occurs, how the song just abruptly ends is also just very interesting, why they did that. So I think the production was great on it. I thought the storytelling, as well as just the interesting concept, was also, in my opinion, it hadn't really been done like that up until that point, at least. So D.O.C just always innovating, and this is a great song.
That's also one of my picks for all those reasons, and I'll expound upon a few. The ending is so abrupt and so dramatic, and it reminds me of one of my favorite songs I mentioned from time to time, Fast Peg by LL Cool J. Because that's the breaks,
yeah.
And then the song's over, and it was over, and then it's over. And the thing about that type of finality is that it's very powerful because it's so unexpected. We usually in songs hear the beat play out, or at least there's some sort of commentary or something. But just when something's over, sometimes it's just over. And that's Millie Pulled a Pistol on Santa is incredible. And then how they have the sorry, all these different little elements they bring in to bring extra dimensions to the song. And then D.O.C, especially on 3 Feet High and Rising, kind of had, from the cover to the feel of the songs, it had this happy-go-lucky vibe to it. Even a lot of the songs about, sex and exploring, getting stuff like that. It was more lighthearted. D.O.C is Dead clearly is a much darker album, and Millie Pulled the Pistol on Santa is a prime example of that. overall, and I think it just showed why De La Soul would then become one of the great rap groups of all time and one of the great groups in music history, I think, because they have this range that they can pull from and deliver all this amazing material, and to be able to do a song about sexual abuse and to do it in a powerful way, in a way that isn't corny or preachy, but that is just like that is sad, powerful, and sobering. And I just think it's phenomenal. So what's your second pick, Amir?
Well, second pick, it's definitely in a different direction. It's not, a sad tale. Ring, Ring, Ring has to be one of mine. It's just...
I thought there was some sadness in that, though.
Well,
continue.
It depends on who you are. If you're
Yes.
the guy given, or if you're the artist given the mixtape, then yeah, or the demo, then you're definitely sad when you get that ringtone. But that's just one of the, in my opinion, like we've said, De La Soul, just with the awesome concepts and so that song to me, it's one I think is very catchy. I can totally see a hip hop fan and a non hip hop fan enjoying that kind of song. And then on top of that, the chorus, like I said, very catchy. Then you get to the content of the song, like, okay, well, what are they talking about? Why are you hearing the dial tone? And basically, like, at any show, you got this Tom, Dick, and Hank, handing you demos, and then, you're in this awkward situation where the artist is asking for your feedback, and you kind of have to give them, like, yeah, I liked it, like, okay, let's move on here, so it's not awkward, like, De La Soul's kind of given like these interactions that they deal with after shows, when people just see him in the street, etc., etc., etc. I like the story how this one always cracked me up when basically he gives him the number to the hotel room. And he says, "Call me at 2 or call me at noon." It's like checkout time. Give me a call. I'm just like, it's just like hilarious. It's very clever. And then just like basically saying like, yeah, you can give it to me, but you're gonna get the dial tone. Like, I just think it's saying so much by saying so little. And De La Soul, it's just a great song, man. So that has to be my number 2.
Well, that's not my second pick, but with that kind of twisted, strange, bizarre humor, we'll use a pick of mine, which is Bitties in the BK Lounge.
That's a good song.
So this song, it just was so amazing to me because by 1991, when De La Soul's Dead came out, rap had started this exploration of real life situations in songs that didn't revolve around being, say, in the streets or being gangster or being these different things. An early example, of course, is like Dana Dane with Nightmares, where that's something that everybody can relate to. But then when Dana Dane did Cinderella, that's based off Cinderella, so that's kind of a fantasy and all this stuff. But Bitties in the BK Lounge was one of those story raps that, to me, was so endearing because I could see it happening, and it probably did happen in this way, or at least a similar way to some degree. And I know from going to Burger King and frequently a lot of fast food in this era that the cashiers and everything had these attitudes, and at times, especially if you went into particular stores, not everyone, of course, but some of them I had been to where definitely the girl in particular reminded me of some of the things I had encountered myself. So I just think Bitties in the BK Lounge is so funny, and I really like the fact that humor in rap is something I love, and when you can do it in a way that is memorable and it helps push the story along in unexpected ways, and the male and female back and forth I always enjoy. So the beat usually is the most important thing to me to get me into the song, but this concept, like Millie pulled a pistol on Santa, was just so good, so intriguing, and so hilarious to me. I love this song.
And I like the what do they say, Bitties in the BK Lounge. Like, I always like that too. I was kind of drawn to that one as well. So yeah, man, like their concepts on this album are always interesting, and they almost always pull it off in a way that I want to hear it again and again. My last pick, this is a little different in terms of the sonics, and I was very drawn to it. I think it's a very interesting, instrumental, and that would be Keeping the Faith. The instrumental is just very kind of like a little more happy, a little more light, and the story is it's also like an interesting story too. So basically I was drawn by the beat, and then when I heard the lyrics I was like, pretty funny stuff. So basically Jody has the padlock, then the dude who's trying to pursue Jody has to start paying and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, well, this is just like a interesting story. And then they mentioned like Claude Van Damme in there too, so I thought that was cool. And I like the chorus. I just really like the Sonics. Really drove me to liking this track, and then also the concept was pretty funny and dope too. But then just hearing cultural references like the Claude Van Dammes and then Jody with the padlock, I just love hearing things like that where you're giving a character and then you're also giving a character with certain things about their personality or character, or things that kind of make you remember. I'm always, when I hear the name Jody, if someone introduces me to a friend or whatever, and Jody, I automatically think Jody with a padlock. That's just something that's now in my brain forever. So I think that's pretty clever of De La, whether they did it intentionally or unintentionally. It stuck with me through all these years after hearing this album. So Keeping the Faith is my number 3, and I also want to give a shout out to Oodles of O's, which is another just one of those incredible songs.
Yes.
That could be my number 3, but this album is packed.
And Peace Porridge is another one that's not one of my picks, but they had a lot of good food related things going on this album, which I think was awesome. But my third pick, Keeping the Faith is great, but that's not my third pick. My third pick is a roller skater jam named Saturdays, because the music of this is just so infectious to me. I love the scratching on it, of course, and then Q-Tip with his guest appearance delivers an amazing thing on there. But I just like the playfulness, and unlike a lot of the album, this is a bright, festive feel, and so it really stands out to me on De La Soul's Dead, because much of the rest of the album, as we've discussed, is not, it's more darker and it has a more somber, serious undertone, whereas a roller skating jam named Saturdays does not. And just the singing, Vinny Mojica, just the whole thing about this whole collaboration just made me smile, and every time I hear that song I get excited. Shout out to my daughter Lauren, she loves this song when I played it for her because I thought she would like it. And just taking it back to that old school, just really awesome to me, man. I really love it, and it just makes me think of summer, makes me feel about being outside. The video does that as well, and it's just a good festive fun track talking about trying to get at girls, so it's just good stuff, man.
Yeah, no, that's another one. I don't know why I didn't mention that one too, when I was shouting out Oodles of O's, because that was fighting for the 3 spot too. It's a great song. I also like the cover of it because it's got the roller skates on it on the single. Dude, De La Soul, man, like you said, their best album. Happy we agree on that classic stuff.
Well, there it is, y'all. So y'all got my top 3 picks and Amir's top 3 picks. De La Soul's Dead. Be sure to hit us up in the comments section. Let us know what you guys are thinking. As always, like our content, share it, talk about it, be about it, subscribe. Unique Access Entertainment. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
The Great Debaters, y'all.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Your MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
There's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The history of gangster rap in stores now.